Okay, welcome back to Fishing with Mr. Chow. And now we're going to go through my alternator and my fuel filter to see how they are and if they need replacements.
End up having to remove it or put new foam in it. But this foam, it'll beat up. These little sharks, sometimes pull them off.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Every time we put in there, it scrapes it off. That's why.
And where this can become an issue, but lifting it off, it may have rubbed something that tore a piece off.
Yeah.
Because it fits so tight, it's rubbing against various things on the motor. Like, see these zip ties? As much as we like them, that zip tie's out front.
Yeah.
I could see where it was rubbing that foam.
Yeah.
So going on and off, it was tearing little chunks off of it. I prefer the part that's sharp, turn those in away from the foam. So you're putting it on and off, and it'll scratch it up. So look for causes that can be damaging it when you put it on and take it off.
Yeah.
Now, if those pieces get ingested into the air system, they can end up in the direct injector, causing permanent failure of it.
Okay.
Fortunately, these have a filter, which should be looked at and checked or serviced once in a while. Okay, so this air gets pulled in here, goes across. That means this grommet is critically important. That helps seal this hole right here to keep contaminants out of the air compressor system. All right. So those things look okay. But it's the little things that can be important. You got to know what's going on. All right. When I started to do, I got sidetracked on. Check what we call AC voltage instead of DC. This was a DC system and it cannot tolerate very much AC voltage. So we're going to go right to the alternator output terminal right here. And I want a very good connection. So we're going to start it up again. And you see right now I'm showing DC voltage. AC is because it's equally negative and positive. There should be none, 0. That's an AC voltage signal there. That's a DC signal. So if I go here, I won't see almost nothing. Well, running, that should not exceed 250 millivolts, 1/4 of a volt. If it does, that's telling us we've got an alternator issue for sure. charge is 14.5. The alternator is not doing that. I'm going to see if it's still working. Now that's steady. Camera right here. See the problem? There should be no movement. This is why you don't use wing nuts on the battery cable for that sort of thing. That could have enough oxidization to cause voltage spikes and surges. Now it's a possibility. The air pressure from the alternator is also a possibility, but it's not doing it now like it was earlier. But we will correct that problem. Checking the seal, make sure the seal's in good shape.
Yeah.
To avoid getting water in it. And we already inspected the foam earlier.
Yep.
To make sure it wasn't causing us a problem. Okay, this doesn't have a plug. An invaluable tool to have is a 5/16 or 8mm wobble socket with an extension and a straight one. But this one helps greatly in getting to some of these fasteners. And putting them back in. Try to do it with a straight socket or wrench. You're sitting here fiddling around for hours doing what takes seconds with this way.
And I assume don't use power drills. I mean, don't use power tools.
It's okay to remove them. I don't like to use it too much for reassembly. And they get misused so much. That's why I'm kind of hesitant to do that here. Now, see that one down there? In the bottom? I need a longer section.
That one right down there. That's going to be a hard one to get to.
The shorter one. It's quite long. But can you imagine getting that out with a straight socket or an end wrench?
Oh yeah.
The right tools can make life so much easier. And when you put the cowlings back on, you put all the screws in the holes, and you're careful to put the cowling in place so the screws don't fall out. Now they're already in the holes when you get it up there, and all you do is wrench in and tighten them down. This one, 2.5. To get the cowlings off, you got to pull the rigging tube out of it. Some of them you can just lift it out as a complete assembly.
Yeah.
I push, oh, that went. All right. Some of them you can't. But you see the screw down here? See that one?
I don't, but I'll get to that side.
This one's hard to get to. Harder to get to. But you learn how to use these, and if you put it in the hole before you put the cowling in place, all you can just go in there and tighten it. But that's why you need a wobble socket. I can't imagine even trying to do this with a straight socket or end wrench. Now, most of these Mercury motors have 4 cowling screws. You notice we did 3 of them. There's one more. But it's easy to get to. Okay, give me my tool back. And I'll use a straight screw. And this one's down here underneath.
That one's the easy one.
Yeah, that's a straight shot in there. Now, things are a little different when you get to the 3-liter motor, like that one over there. On those, for this lower screw, it has a rubber plug goes in right here. You go through that hole and reach in there to do that. You have to pull the rubber plug out. There are differences in them, though there's still a lot of similarities too.
Okay.
These are all this stuff. So we should be able. Sometimes they stuck on the 2 5s because they go on to here on some bosses. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get them started. They're stuck. See those rubber discs?
Yep.
They put a hole. They'll flood off the stick. So they don't just slide off perfectly easily. Now, you lift up the rigging tube, get it out of this one, and you have to manipulate it, rotate it out off.
All right.
And when you put it back on, you want these inside screws in there.
Okay.
You can get it placed without it falling out. Then they're real easy to retighten. Okay, you see how that opened up with the spark plug? It opens it up so you inspect for signs of leakage down here.
Yep.
On it.
Okay.
It also gives us access to get the fuel filter off now.
And Leon.
Yes, sir.
So now, how often should you replace those gas filters?
That's an annual maintenance thing.
Got it.
A lot of people don't do it that often, but they should be. This is this sensor senses water if it's in the fuel filter.
Yeah.
And you'll get an alarm if it senses water in there on it. If there is an alarm, you'll set a code in a computer which can be seen.
And you can see there, 923, I replaced that filter. And I tell you, I pour that out, and there was water under there.
There almost always will be a little bit of water in it. But sometimes, it depends on the marina you're going to, and if you're filling up out in the rain, and the atmosphere, the tanks breathe. So when it warms up, fuel expands, vapors get pushed out. Now it cools off. It sucks all this air in, a lot of humidity in it. That humid air is in the tank. It condenses back to droplets of water, floats right into the gas, goes to the bottom.
Okay.
This catches it, separates it. If it gets bad enough, it'll trigger an alarm and warn you about it.
Okay.
If you get the right filters, they come with a new sensor.
Yeah.
On it already. Always put a little lubricant on the seals too.
Yes.
2-cycle oil, 2,4-C Mercury lube is really good. It's got a lot of Teflon in it. Makes it super slippery. And I had already installed the sensor in this one.
Okay.
They come with it.
And that little sensor right there is pretty sensitive. If you torque it a little bit too hard, it would actually break.
It's not. They don't have to be torqued very tight.
Yeah.
Guys that don't have a lot of experience are usually paranoid of leaving something loose. They have a tendency to over-tighten those things. That's where torque wrenches are very valuable in teaching them what's the correct torque on it and feel. And I understand that. The paranoia of not getting it tight enough. But it can be very harmful. It's slippery. And it'll dig into the paint usually. Now it's got a bite.
Alright.
And if they're really, really tight, your filter wrench is slipping. You just put a little piece of sandpaper in it. Oh, that one's really tight. Did you put it on?
I put it on, but I think
they have a tendency to over tighten.
I think I had a little bit of spinach that day.
Did you do that by hand?
I don't remember.
This is hard to get on, so I usually use a wrench to help get it tight enough.
No, I think I must have used a wrench.
Huh?
Probably I probably use
but
a
I
wrench.
don't go very much
Yeah.
on them. But anyway, know about the sandpaper.
But I use the one with like a little bit of teeth on it. So
yeah, some of my tools are antiques. I've had them so long.
yeah.
Sierra's a pretty fair product. I lean toward Quicksilver or Mercury being original equipment for Mercury's. I know for a fact that Mercury thermostats are more reliable than Sierra's. Sierra seem to vary, are not as accurate, as precise as Mercury stats are. But there's a whole lot of stuff out there that's really bad.
Oh, okay.
On it. You gotta be careful on eBay and Amazon. You can get a lot of, they sell a lot of counterfeit stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And counterfeit parts sometimes are really junk. I remember a while back I got some filters on Amazon that they read right and didn't say anything. If they say replacement for, it's not the original thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I thought I was getting genuine Mercury fuel filters for Optimax. They weren't. They come in, and I boxed them right back up, put them in return shelf. On it.
I did that with batteries, and
I said they're not going in motors that I do. But you got to be real careful with them. So I need to stuff up this. But it don't have to have much more than you can't get a good grip on it to turn it quite enough by hand. You're almost forced to use a tool.
yeah.
You get that last little bit. Just don't go very much. And if you've lubed it, it's easy to get them tight enough. That's the other thing on it. The wrenches are tight fit in here. Mercury probably sells a special wrench just for this filter. That wouldn't surprise me. There. And then don't forget to plug the sensor wire back into it.